Spartans! Prepare for glory! This is where we hold them! This is where we fight! I brought more soldiers than you did.
We're going to have to talk about this Rittenhouse stuff that's going on here.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, because this is crazy. But before, I guess I'll just do intro because hello and welcome everybody to the Collective Minds podcast. This is episode 11. Today we got me, Austin, we got Jay, and we got Brandon. And welcome to the show. So yeah, there's
welcome.
welcome. welcome. Brandon's on mute for a little bit. He's trying to dodge drugs at the grocery store, hoping he does not find any this time, which is hard to do these days. So yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse, man, absolutely crazy. I cannot believe that they do not have a mistrial yet. And they were talking about a mistrial with like a fucking where they can't like do it again. Is that what I was getting from that?
So there's two types: mistrial and mistrial with what is that word? Prejudice. So if it's a mistrial, you can redo it at a different type of trial kind of thing or a different day. If there is a mistrial with prejudice, that means the judge will not reopen the case or have any other case related to that subject to be open, kind of thing. You can't bring it up.
That should be most cases that are as straight cut as this one. So that's like saving everybody fucking taxpayers' dollars, everybody time.
Yeah.
Like what pisses me off the most about this case is you obviously have a child who was put in a life and death situation, obviously had some sort of angels on his shoulders, and then barely survived, now has horrible PTSD from this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the prosecutor is such a piece of shit asshole that he not only makes him relive it in detail to the point he like can't, like that video like makes me want to cry. You know what I mean? When he's like trying to grasp reality, his words, his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And not only does it once, but asks the same questions like 10 to 15 fucking times.
Yeah. As
this kid's falling apart. Absolutely. That's child abuse. I mean, not even child abuse. That's just, I don't know. I think that's some sort of fucking assault. I think that's some sort of harassment, torture, even. I mean, like, that kid was put in that situation. Now people would be like, "Oh, he shouldn't have been
on
there."
The spot,
right? But
wasn't the guy that initially attacked him? Didn't he just get out of a psychiatric hospital like 3 or 4 days before that?
Yeah. Probably because of fucking COVID.
Yeah, I heard that he was like had some like issues just a couple weeks before that at a different place involving violence and threatening people, and then he had that issue.
He was a registered sex offender, mental patient. Yeah. He started that night out because
I knew he was a sex offender, but I didn't realize that he was like really freshly out of a mental hospital.
Yeah, in and out. He was probably heavy in drugs too. And
usually goes hand in hand. Sadly.
Right. And he started his night, from what I gathered, pushing like lighting shit on fire, like garbage cans and then a big trash bin. And then what got him mad was he started pushing the trash bin, like a big metal one, towards the police on fire, and someone put it out. And then he like looked at him and was like, "Why'd you do that?" And then started like went away from the police to all those armed guys protecting the building. Started pushing him, saying, "Shoot me, N-word, shoot me, N-word." Like, I want to be gangster, and shoving him and trying to grab shit off of him. And I told Kyle that if I catch you alone tonight, I'm gonna fucking kill you, is his like exact words. And then Kyle ended up getting a phone call later that night to go put out a fire at like this parking lot, and he ran over there and he runs past the guy, and the guy throws a paper or plastic bag with something in it, chases him. Kyle turns around, like aims the gun at him, turns around to run away. The guy gains speed on him, and Kyle turns around. The guy grabs the barrel of his gun. He goes pop, 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 4 of them in 3/4 of a fucking second. Drops the guy, runs. The crowd's screaming at him, chasing him. Someone hits him. He falls to the ground, gets hit in the head twice with a skateboard. The skateboard guy grabs his barrel of his fucking gun, which is also aiming it at his chest. Kyle pulls the trigger, kills that guy, and then turns, and this other guy lifts up a fucking pistol, points it at his head, and Kyle shoots him in the arm. I think there should have been 3 fucking deaths that night. That's my opinion. I think he should have shot that guy in the face, but he wasn't really target practicing at the moment. But
Well, if you're in that situation, you're just panicked. You just want to get away.
he's
So,
very lucky. He's
yeah, like
very fucking lucky.
for him to shoot, it's basically fight or flight. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was scared shitless with everyone around him
Yeah.
yelling and saying all that stuff, and then these guys like being within arm's reach
Mhm.
within his personal space, because once you break into that personal space, you feel threatened. That's your life on the line, kind of thing.
And they're screaming at him that they're
Yeah.
gonna fucking kill him.
Mhm.
I mean, and there's tons of people at that point. He's running to the police as they're attacking him, and I mean, he got hit in the skateboard twice on the ground before that guy grabbed his gun. I wholeheartedly think that if that guy would have pulled that gun and got his like hands off of it, like almost to the point of dragging it off of Kyle, that guy with the pistol would have fucking shot him in the head. That's what
yeah.
they proved not yesterday, the day before, where they had that guy in that got shot in the arm, admitted, like, so in this video, in this picture, like pretty much you admit that Kyle didn't fucking shoot you until you had your pistol aimed at his head. And he's like, that's correct. And the defense is like, we're not defense. The prosecution's like, fuck. Because, I mean, this kid's going to get off. If he doesn't get off, it's crazy. I heard that George Floyd's family and BLM are threatening the jury, like, with their lives and shit. So that's pretty crazy.
That didn't make sense at all, because it wasn't race based. It
Mm-mm.
was Kyle, a white dude, shooting other white dudes, that was threatening his life.
Right.
Like,
Which I don't get the race part on it anyway.
I
I
think
look
there was
at
a
it.
misconception.
It is
Like, people were saying that he shot a black guy.
a Black Lives Matter protester.
Yeah.
Right. So they think like, oh, it's black people just protesting and he started shooting. No, that's not what happened. Not even close. And I don't care what color they are, but if you look at like why George Floyd's family would be mad or Black Lives Matter would be mad, as corrupt of people and organizations those two things are, to me, it looks like the reason they're mad is because they're acting as a terroristic organization. They're mad that someone stood up and did not let these pieces of fucking shit burn down the rest of that town. That someone actually got in front and did something about it.
Yep. I'm surprised the trial's still going on, because there was so much evidence in support of Kyle that it wasn't his fault. Had the night been a little different, no one would have died.
Yeah.
Like, all he did was defend himself, and
he serves a way bigger purpose.
Yeah, like he has he has every right to defend himself in the face of being threatened, or even like if his life was on line, kind of thing, which it was. Someone was chasing him. He turned around, pointed his rifle towards him. The guy kind of stops. So Kyle kept running. The guy kept chasing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Like at that point, he should have just stopped and let Kyle go. But no, he kept going after him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once he was within like hitting range, because like in that situation, like adrenaline's pumping, you're trying to run away, you don't know what they have. They might not
Yeah.
have a gun, but they might have a knife.
Nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah. So once what was his name? Rosenberg? Once he got close,
Yeah, it was Rosenberg.
like once he got close, like he was like what I said, he was within his personal space. So
Mhm.
like
Oh, when he touched him, it was like that. Like nobody wants to throw in the prey and predator factor in that courtroom, do they? You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like, for one, you don't chase a motherfucker with a gun. That's me.
yeah,
I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't care if you're 100-pound woman. If you're chasing me after telling me you're gonna fucking kill me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you got. Why are that's the
mhm,
thing in my head goes, if you're chasing me and you know I have a rifle in my hands, why are you so confident that you're going to get me? What do you have that I don't? That's scarier
mhm,
than if, you know what I mean? He knew he had a weapon, you know?
yeah. It
What
goes
does he have?
to it goes to intent, right? If the guy stopped and didn't pursue Kyle, then
Hmm.
he didn't have some sort of intention. But then he kept chasing him, right? So there was
Hmm.
some sort of intent in his motive. Why would he keep going after him,
Right.
especially armed?
He showed him the gun going, this should make him stop. It didn't. That's
Right.
scary. Now it's in the unknown. You
Yeah.
know what I
And
mean?
then once that event unfolded, Kyle kept running, and then other people started to surround and try to beat him up, kind of thing, go after him. Like logically, if you're a bystander and you just saw someone shooting someone, you don't want to go after the guy with the gun, right?
Exactly.
Like you don't
Exactly.
like that doesn't make sense. Like you want to put yourself in harm's way where there's someone who has an active rifle, a
Uh-huh.
loaded rifle,
Yeah.
and you heard it go off.
Because they don't think that if they thought he was an active shooter, they would have ran away, not after him.
Yeah,
You
so
know what I mean?
I don't want to segue away from the subject, but like
Uh-huh.
I guess people nowadays they don't understand the dangers of guns.
I don't know.
Like when some like my first reaction when I hear gunshot is, oh shit, get down, right? Like these people in the video, they just stand there. They're not ducking, they're not looking for the source, they're not taking cover.
This could go into the drug epidemic we're also in. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
I never realized that that guy behind the guy that was chasing Kyle also shot a round into the fucking air while Kyle was running away and didn't see who shot it. I didn't know that part. I never saw that. So when
I've
I
seen
found that
I've
out,
seen
I'm
clips
like,
about that.
he's running away, he's being chased. And before he turns around and aims his gun at the guy chasing him, there is a fucking gunshot right over his fucking head.
Yeah. Instinctively you would
He-
automatically assume that was towards you.
He's thinking, well, he's probably thinking too, if this guy doesn't have the gun, someone else does, and he's going to come fucking shoot my ass if I don't get rid of this guy and defend myself against the next one, too. You know,
Yeah.
this happens in like 3 fucking seconds, you know,
Yeah.
like all of that thought process. So I don't know. He's just a scared fucking kid. And then they're chasing him, and he's like, you know, thinking like, he brought that gun there so people wouldn't fuck with him. And now he used the gun, which you'd think people definitely wouldn't fuck with you after using it. You know,
Mhm.
there is bullets in this, and I do know how to use it, and I will use it. Now they're full on it, chasing him and attacking him.
Yeah.
That kid was running to safety. He's lucky. The shots he got off are fucking beyond luck.
Yeah, and in his defense, when he was being questioned yesterday, during the trial,
Hmm.
his original intention wasn't to get the AR. His original intention was to buy a shotgun.
Oh, wouldn't that have fucking turned out interesting?
That would have been a lot more bad, right?
Well, he
Imagine
wouldn't
got
have anyone to
swamped.
testify against him.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Like that shot that went over that guy's head.
Yeah.
Oh, he would have been fucking headless. All of them.
And then during the trial, I give it to Kyle. He knows what he can't do. He knows the laws and whatnot. And the prosecutor was kind of trying to grill him why he got an AR and why not like a pistol. And Kyle was like, "Well, I'm not old enough to possess or own a pistol by
Right.
law."
Yeah, what a dumbass.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if there was negligence on the prosecutor. Not
They're way
knowing.
less accurate. That
Don't know
prosecutor didn't
enough
know
about guns
shit.
and don't realize that pistols are generally what are used in crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the part where the prosecutor's like, well, trying to sneak his way in. And when I heard this, I was like, fuck, he's going for it. Talking about, he's like, so what kind of bullet did you have in the gun? And he's like, Full Metal Jacket. And I'm like, this is where this is going. He's trying to say that he was fucking a danger in there because he had bullets that could go through people easily and hit other people. And then he starts hinting at hollow points, and the judge ends up just cutting him off, yells at him and says, there is no fucking guarantee that a hollow point will not go through the first body and into a second one.
Yes.
And
that's
throws
true.
it out. And I was like, yes. You know what I mean? Because, well, hollow, because that's a good
I'm glad
argument.
this judge isn't taking any shit and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to guns.
Yeah, the judge is
And
old
the
school.
prosecutors don't. Like,
And they're trying to,
don't.
the left is trying to like make out the judge to be a Trump supporting white supremacist, but was hired by a fucking liberal to, he's no bullshit. And the thing about like hollow points and, I hate saying Full Metal Jacket just because
FMJs.
it's a fucking plinking ammo is what it is.
Yeah.
Which they will also call armor piercing, which is it's
That's not true.
bad. It's just a real actual fucking bullet that they've used forever. Those are the first bullets ever used. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
If he went there with those and shot somebody, they have a better chance of living. Whether it hits one person or six, all of those people have a better chance of living.
Mhm.
Than getting shot by a hollow point. A hollow point will fuck you up. That's what they're made for.
Spreads. Yeah,
it spreads and kills you. You bleed out before the ambulance can get there. They're lucky.
Oh,
that guy with
not
the
only
gun that got
bleed.
shot in the arm's lucky.
Like all that shrapnel could tear into other stuff.
Yeah, and getting it out is a fucking bitch.
Yeah. Have you seen Iron Man?
Have you seen? Yeah, right. The more I pull on it, the further it gets in. Yeah, fucking crazy. But all right, guys, let's fucking hit on this Travis Scott shit at Astroworld that just happened. Brandon, did you hear about this? Oh,
yeah. Hold on 1 second. Sorry,
you're good. You're good.
I was just getting home, but yeah. I'm ready to go. I am good to go right now. I'm going to go for a walk, and yeah, I did hear about it. I actually looked a little bit into it, and I'm interested to talk about it because I've actually attended quite a few concerts, indoor and outdoor. I've been to huge festivals like this, and I looked into the whole crowd crush thing. I've actually experienced some pretty negative things, and then like some of my earlier concerts with indoor concerts in Portland, the Roseland Theater, just super overpacked. Like me being, my size, I could only imagine being like a 120-pound female being trapped in a situation like that where you're completely unable to fucking move or get out of something like that. Like that, this has to be a absolutely terrifying experience.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't wish on anybody.
Like it sounded like people were getting their shoulders dislocated, ribs broken, just from being shoved together so hard. But I want to throw out some facts before I throw my phone away that I saved. So I believe the Astroworld is a satanic ritual. It's clear cut to me completely. You walked in through the mouth of him, which is like in all different religions and beliefs and shit over time, all over the world, has always been bad luck or bad karma. Because it resembles going into the belly of the beast, is what I got from it. So you walk through. So you walk through that. And so the ritual at Astroworldfest, I'm just going to read this to you, happened 666 months and 6 days after the founding of the Church of Satan. Incidentally, Travis Scott's birthday. And it was right after Drake made a surprise appearance. Travis Scott and Drake were born 66 months and 6 days apart. There's just some numbers to throw at some people. 8 people were confirmed dead at Travis Scott's Astrofest. Victims were allegedly all front and center in the crowd. Stage contains multiple symbols, including a black hole portal background, fire, a flaming phoenix, and the stage itself was called Utopia Mountain, which when you look at behind him and the flames and shit, I was watching the videos, it looks like a fucking portal to hell. Opening song is Escape Plan. But the performer opening before Travis, as he's walking off the stage, he says, "Don't die tonight." Everyone that went is claiming on their social media that they could not breathe once he started the show. Like all of a sudden something changed and they couldn't fucking breathe. And he continued the fucking show despite the crowd yelling help and people panicking, which could be played off as a multiple things. Can't hear. He's like, someone's just being fucking crazy. It goes into so much. So like there was 8 something I watched on Donut. There was 8 something, like 8 people that died, but it was represented like 8, either something with the flyer or 8 something. It was something satanic. And then the flyer itself was like Illuminati and satanic. And there was like an Illuminati pyramid there. And a couple years ago, Travis Scott got out on a concert and he said, when I turn around, I better see fucking bodies floating or some shit like that, like talking to the crowd. Crazy stuff. And ultimately, what a lot of people I found interesting didn't know is that one of the main reasons the police are like balls deep in this investigation is because a security guard was there trying to help somebody or break something up. And all of a sudden they felt this prick in their fucking neck and they hit the ground and started overdosing and they had to give him Narcan. Someone had stabbed him with a fucking needle of something, my guess being fentanyl, but this was happening all over at that concert that night. If this isn't a satanic ritual, I don't know what is. And then also the police, the chief of police or the sheriff, one of the two, can't remember which one, went to Travis Scott's trailer to tell him, hey, before the concert even started, we're already having a fucking problem. Like with the amount of people and everything, how it's set up, we're already having a problem. And they just like blew it off and we're like, we're going to do it anyway. And yeah, if this isn't a satanic ritual, I don't fucking know what is. It is what it is. He was collecting souls that night and he did a fucking good job at it. And if you watch his quote unquote apology video, he's making hand signs above his forehead, trying to totally fake as fuck. I've never seen someone so disingenuous about people dying ever. Like he does not care. And I don't know. But also I wanted to point out too that he last year, the beginning of this year, whenever it was, they had the Travis Scott burger or the meal. I think it might have been last year at McDonald's. Well, those high-rise people like this that are higher up in the Illuminati now, they're all changing. If you watch, like allegedly Pete Davidson is now about to date like one of the Kardashians. Like it's fucking Pete Davidson. But he's been doing a bunch of fucking Illuminati shit to get up there. You'll see a bunch of shit with some other people like MGK and Lizard Girl, what's her name? But Travis Scott is one of those people. Got an endorsement from McDonald's, and then all of a sudden he's doing satanic rituals, and people are fucking dying as he does his ritual and does not care. But yeah, anyone got anything on that?
I disagree with like a lot of what I see on it for sure. Like metal is like one of my favorite shows to go to. It's not something I really listen to on my free time, but their shows are just awesome to go to live.
Who was it?
What? Oh, I've been to a lot of metal shows, but just in general, if anything bad happens at all, they will completely 100% stop shows, man. Like
And
fans
help.
are not afraid to like put things to the side, and like they'll stop shit for fucking 45 minutes sometimes if it's that bad. For one person, like I don't know, it's just
they were crowd surfing bodies out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And the way they were getting people out of the fucking thing was turning around. The security was pulling them over the rails. And there's a video I saw where like they look back and there's like this group of like 15, 20 fucking people trying to get off the ground, but like the ones that are getting off are like they look all right, and then all of a sudden like their eyes are rolling the back of their fucking head and they're like swaying. And I'm like, were they just crushed or what the fuck is going on? It looks like something's taken over them.
Broke into that concert from what I heard too. Like they're saying that it was like a huge thing with the venue and this, that, and the other, but I guess the security as far as like letting people in that didn't have tickets was pretty lax, and so they had like an extreme overcrowding issue.
That's weird to me. I mean,
yeah,
they'll fucking.
Well, the way it was laid out, and then the lax, and like it was obviously like made to hold a certain amount of people. Like it's anybody that is an event organizer knows like that many people in that much of a confined space is like not a safe scenario.
Almost like it was done on purpose.
Yeah.
That's weird. I mean, I get it. Like people sneak into shit, but I mean, even at high school football games, they fucking, you know what I mean? Like you're not gonna, I mean, fuck. Not enough people are gonna sneak in there to, the ones you got to pay tickets for or whatever, and are gonna be able to sneak in to change the actual like population of the fucking, and I don't know. It's weird. I know they say that. I don't know how big that is. It sounds kind of like a fucking excuse. Like, oh, it's the people's fault. You know what I mean? Which you'd think, I mean, these people are there to make fucking money. And it's in Houston, Texas. It's not like, which is a big city, but you know what I mean? I'm sure most of his fans are in like LA, or shit like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know shit about him. So
I don't know either. I mean, right? Like, who the fuck is this guy? Honestly, I don't know. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy weird. Do you have anything on it, Jay, that you want to throw in?
Well, I seen this thing saying Travis Scott is like a very, very, very common name, but really not common nowadays.
Right.
And I've seen a Twitter post saying Travis Scott equals Tavistock. You guys familiar with that?
Not entirely. I saw that too, and I want to bring it up, but I couldn't remember. What is that?
Tavistock Institute. So Tavistock Institute is one of those old, really, really old. I don't want to say companies. I guess entities. They were involved with. So supposedly they're involved with covering up history, rewriting history to what it is today, kind of thing. I didn't know what they meant by Travistock, Travistock, as in the institute, and Travis Scott. Like they're trying to tie the two together, kind of thing.
Right. You got the. Yeah. So that's it's. I don't know. Who knows? I'd have to break into that more to find out. Kind of makes sense on some levels. Kind of doesn't on other levels. Rewriting history, definitely. It's in like controlling the flow. Because if you're rewriting history, it's not just because you want to change history, right? It's because you want to change the future.
That, and you don't want people to know about the past, what happened in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
He's probably, I mean, he came out of nowhere. He's probably a fucking clone, like what we were talking about last episode. He probably is. I'd put my money on it. I'd put my money towards he's a fucking clone doing this shit. It's crazy. It was crazy. All right, guys. Yep. Hopefully he's sued into oblivion, and hopefully whoever's stabbing people with narcotics at fucking music festivals are in a ditch somewhere right now. But I got some shit for you guys tonight.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So people been wanting some cryptid stuff. So I was thinking bringing in some cryptid stuff. Hey Brandon.
What's up?
All right, man. You ever heard of something called the BEK?
BEK?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
How about the Black-Eyed Kids?
Oh yeah. I think we talked about this before.
We did. We probably got into it a little bit.
Yeah,
No, that
a
was
little bit.
That's well, we did talk about the Black-Eyed Club.
Oh. A little different.
The Black Guy Club. Yeah. This is a little bit different. This is about so it's a lot of bit different. Black-Eyed Kids. And before, like, you know, some of you or whoever's listening to this, before some of you start thinking that you may have one time been a black-eyed kid, let me pause you there because this is a little bit different. This is a cryptid, which is it's pretty fucking interesting. There's not a whole lot known about it, but there's many people's stories, testimonies. So this is one that's went on. Allegedly, Europe has a way bigger problem with these black-eyed children than we do, and allegedly there's stories about it back from even the early 1900s, but the digging on this is a little difficult. So we're going to go to the first story written by a writer from 1998. His name is Brian Bethel. And he had a story that came out that he wrote about saying it was completely true. And that's kind of where this picked up heat. And this story, unlike a lot of other cryptids, most people like with Bigfoot, you know, they're like, everyone puts in the reports and like, oh yeah, or aliens, you know, doesn't really take like one to hit it off. And then, but this one does. So this guy wrote this and people are like, holy shit, I've had situations like this too. And then later I've had it and more have popped up throughout time. And so he told his story and published it, and it went pretty wild. And that's when everyone's like, this is a fucking thing now. And it became a fucking thing. So Brian Bethel was trying to pay his internet bill to Camelot Communications. And he was in Texas. Yes, he was in Texas. I do believe. Houston, Texas. I do believe. It was located at the corner of Barrow and South First Street. He pulled over next to the Westwood Theater parking lot on North First Street near Westwood to write a check to pay his internet bill. And he did this because of the lighting. Now, while writing the check, Bethel said he was unaware of what was going on around him. Then came a tap on his driver's side window of his car. He looked up to see two young kids. They appeared to be around 9 years old and a 13-year-old. Both were wearing hooded sweatshirts, and the older of the two kids tapped on the window asking if he would give them a ride to their mother's house so they can get money to come back and see the movie Mortal Kombat. It was then that Brian noticed both of the boys' eyes were completely blacked out. No whites in their eyes at all. Immediately, he got a very sick and eerie feeling, which is very common with these stories. Brian said the boys kept staring at me with those cold, cold black eyes. My fear must have been easily detected because the older of the two boys that had been doing all the talking started pounding on my window, stating, "We can't come into your car unless you invite us in. You have to let us in." I rolled up my window all the way, put my car in reverse, and started to move back, all the while the two boys were now yelling, "You must let us in. You must let us in. You must let us in." So he didn't just reverse. This guy was terrified, as the original story goes. Shitless. He didn't know why. I mean, besides two fucking kids scaring the shit out of him with black eyes, he just had this fear inside of him that was like horrifying. And he like, the fuck out of there. He went on to say as much that he still doesn't know what really happened that night. He says he knows without exception that what happened that night was fucking real. and that when he looked back into his rearview mirror to look at the two boys, they had mysteriously disappeared. Now,
Jeez.
many different eyewitness accounts spread through multiple countries have described similar experiences, and they corroborate with each other with the same MO the children have. Pale appearance with all black eyes, appearing in 2s or 3s, sometimes 1s. Clothing style typically is out of date, like 10, 20, 30 years older. Like, you think these are like weird homeless kids. And they're trying to gain access to one of the witnesses' vehicle or their home. So it's also important to keep in mind that the black-eyed kids story isn't that phenomenal. If someone were making up a story, they might try harder to make it more interesting or fantastical. The situations described seem creepy, but not like the plot of a horror movie. Just an everyday situation with some weird-ass fucking kids that seem strange. Right? So this is a phenomenon that's been going on for a while, and many stories, of course. There's probably tons of fakes, but lots of people read this or read like to this day, and people like to say it seems that this only happens to people that know about them, which is false, but it seems to happen a lot more to people that do know about them, meaning that people that think or talk about it and stuff have stories of this happening to them, which is interesting, but like a lot more than people that don't know what's going on, or they've heard about it or thought about it, and that kind of brings in the fear of it. So the black-eyed kids, here's some facts about them. They'll look like normal human beings between the ages of 6 and 16 recorded, but with pale skin and completely black eyes. Additionally, people who have been in close proximity to black-eyed kids report a feeling of unease that wash over them. While nothing about the children's appearance, aside from the eyes, genuinely frightened the people, they still reported feelings ranging from anxiety to terror at just the sight of their presence. Some people have also reported seeing black-eyed kids that have talons for feet or other demonic attributes, but most sightings are of seemingly normal children. Black-eyed kids are also commonly described as wearing outdated clothing or dressing in a manner that is not typical of a normal child of their age. Black-eyed children always ask for something. It is always something that involves being in close quarters with you. They will ask for a ride in your vehicle or to enter your home to use the phone. There are no reported stories of what happens when you let a black-eyed kid into your vehicle or home. All stories come from people whose eerie feelings made them flee from the children. That's one thing too, is what happens. There's no stories of what happens. Now, I've heard a couple, but they were obviously fake. But what happens if you do let them in? The earliest sighting of a black eye. Oh, this is of Brian Bethel, but that's not the earliest sighting. That is incorrect. A story has been added to internet creepypasta lore, but to this day, Bethel insists the incident was real and happened the way he reported. In 2014, a British paper reported that sightings of black-eyed kids around the world are rising. Theories about the black-eyed kids are that they are vampires, aliens, or of demonic origin. There's also a story in Portland as well that I do not have pulled up, guys. But so I've heard a bunch of them. Sometimes they'll ask for water. Is what they'll just be a knock at the door. Sometimes it's the older one talking. Sometimes it's the younger one, and they'll be really nice at first, or they're like, "I need to use your phone," and someone will be like, "Well, right, yeah, give me your mom's phone number. I'll call her." They're like, "No, I need to come in. You can't come in unless you let us in, please, ma'am or sir.
Yeah.
You need to come in. You need to come in." And then like these people will freak out, shut the door, like stand there, be listening. And they'll like sometimes hear like animal screeches or like their voices change and they get like crazy and they start like pounding on the fucking door. And they're like, let us in, let us come in, like being fucking crazy. And it's like some conniving little demon monster children wanting to get inside of your house for some reason. And they don't tell you why, but they won't take no as an excuse. And it's almost like they can read minds almost, because as soon as the person is like in their head like, oh fuck, something's going on, that's when they change. And they'll like stand outside in the light just standing there all fucking creepy. Usually the story is they're looking down when they first talk, and then when the person is like, oh fuck this, then they look up at them and show them their eyes completely black. And they don't say it's like there's no whites in the eyes, it's like soulless black demon eyes, like at a supernatural, like that. And it freaks them out. But so they're like pretty much, oh, you're scared, I'm gonna give you a reason to be scared. But they'll go like all of a sudden appear like down like across the street under a fucking street light, and I'll sit there, ranging from like minutes to fucking way longer than that, like hours, and then they'll just disappear. Boom, gone, weren't there, nothing. And all those stories range around the same kind of thing, and goes back and forth. It's kind of creepy, and that the idea that the more you talk about them, the more you think about them, all of a sudden you have a knock at your fucking door, which Lily is very lucky she was not in this when that happened earlier. I think if we were right here right now and that person knocked on her door, she would have shit her fucking pants. I guarantee it. But yeah, it's very interesting. Not a whole lot is known about them. Apparently Europe is like, oh my god, we've been dealing with this forever, like we you know what I mean. But it doesn't seem like someone made it up, just like the Sasquatch theory. I mean, this one's out there too, but they all come with the same details. I mean, for some reason, something inside of the people that open the door, like something is wrong here. And it's weird because in my mind, I'm like, if I had two little kids, like sometimes it's in the rain and the snow, I'm like, yeah, come in, like, but for some reason, these people are like, no, like instantly they can sense the danger. That's what's coming off of these children. And yeah, from 6 to 16, typically they're young. They're like between 6 and 12. Like the older one would be 12. The younger one would be like 6, 7. But yeah, that's the black-eyed kids for you guys. What do you think about that?
It's pretty unusual. I could only imagine. I've heard like some kind of similar stories about like have you ever heard of like the story of Murderers Creek, like kind of close to where we grew up?
You know what? I may have, but I do not. I'm not connecting the dots there. You should
I can't
refresh
remember
me.
specifics, but there were some like beefing cattle ranchers with some other people that were having issues about open grazing clauses, and I'd have to look it up. I can't remember exactly what happened, but they pretty much fucked up a bunch of sheep or cattle, like some sort of cattle. I'm pretty sure it was sheep. They fucked up a bunch of them and then blamed a tribe of Indians, and they went out there and slaughtered like this huge tribe of Indians for no fucking reason, even though it was somebody that, or like they weren't even involved.
Oh wow,
So
that's messed up.
like, yeah, it's supposedly just like super haunted, like ancient burial grounds and shit like that. And it's like people go out there and like go hunting and shit, but they still have like a house and like a cabin and a barn and like all that shit still out there from like fucking forever ago.
Yeah, that's not creepy
But
at all.
That is creepy.
yeah,
we should
there's,
have a
like,
party there.
Yeah,
We should
I've been
go
out there.
ghost hunting.
I could like literally bring you out there. It's like probably 30 miles from my house.
Is it outside? Oh, is it the one outside Mount Vernon?
Yeah,
Oh,
going
gotcha.
towards Bayville. Yeah,
Yeah, I know the road. I've never heard.
it's like some of the best hunting in like the Pacific Northwest as far as mule deer and stuff like that. Or actually, probably in the United States, it's extremely good hunting.
Well, you do know that deer love haunted locations.
Do they now?
I'm not too sure. I don't. I'm making that shit up. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe there's something about that. Maybe there's something to that. We should go check it out. I'm bringing a camera.
Yeah, I'll bring you up there, man. Not a problem. We can go hang out at the fucking barn and shit they have up there.
I used to go ghost hunting when I was younger, and I totally want to fucking do it again.
Yeah, I looked into the caves and shit up on Canyon Mountain about like going up and seeing them.
Yeah.
And they unfortunately like decommissioned a shit ton of them up there and then sold some of them off that are like blocked off by doors and shit now. I guess there's some up that are like in the higher area, but I don't think I've even been to the higher ones. And if I had, it was forever ago, and I don't even know where the fuck they're at now. But like the main ones where you could like pretty much drive there just a couple miles away, I guess they fucking just caved them in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bunch of assholes.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad.
It's sad. I know. Fucking my secret cave for survival. Was that you, Jay, that sent that to me?
Yep.
Yeah, that was Jay. Sent me fucking a YouTube short of some dude running through my damn cave and it
Exploring it.
yeah. Well, the thing was he's like, I was jogging on this road. And I'm like, no, you fucking weren't. It's like 17 miles fucking away from the town. No, you weren't. You're a liar. It's probably further than that. It's like out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Shit.
I think he was from a different country and found a video of it and someone posted it, but yeah, he like runs through the fucking cave exploring it. I'm like, you motherfucker. I'm like, there's no way they have another cave that looks exactly the same with the exact same seating and the exact same gate and symbol. I'm like, fuck, get out of my shit, man. You're gonna get shot. You fucking asshole. Oh, I was pissed when I saw it. I'm like, just take it down. Take it down. People are gonna start asking questions. It's not like a famous fucking cave either. It's like in the middle of the fucking nowhere, in the middle of fucking nowhere, in like the boonies of like a town that nobody even knows of. Fuck.
You know what's gonna happen?
Huh.
That guy that went by and videotaped that is
Gonna
now
get
gonna
shot.
open up. No, he's gonna open up shop. He's gonna put like souvenirs. He's gonna have a tour bus that drives by every now and then. Everyone's gonna take pictures. It's gonna
Everybody's gonna know about it.
I'd be out there with like a big old beard and like my fucking volleyball Wilson screaming at him.
You look like Vermin Supreme with a boot on your head.
Yeah. Legend has it there's this crazy white guy out in that cave that throws his own
Have you
shit
guys
at
seen-
people that come near.
Have you guys seen Vermin Supreme before?
Yeah, is that yes, I do. I have. Yeah.
I love
have
it.
not.
He's like sitting there, like being interviewed by somebody, and he's like promising free ponies to everybody in the United States. He's like, well, like, how do you plan on like getting all this tax money for these free ponies to everybody? And he looks the fucking reporter right in the eye and he goes, they're free.
Fuck me, man.
Yeah.
Oh no. Free you.
It made me laugh so hard. I was like, what the fuck kind of reasoning is that?
Oh, I can't, man. That's probably the best political answer I've ever gotten. In the past like 2 fucking
He just
years.
looked at him like he was a total fucking retard. He's like, I just told you they're free. Like, what are you talking about?
They're fucking free. What do you
Like, yeah, they don't cost anything. No upkeep, no nothing like that.
All right, guys, I gotta cover this.
ponies.
No, not ponies. Free ponies. The
Yeah.
legend of the free
It's
pony.
like, how do we vote for Vermin again?
Yeah, for real. Bringing back 2024.
It's like my grandpa Ron running for president.
Oh, I'd vote for him.
Oh,
I'd vote for
I
him.
want it.
He's a hero. He is. He's a
Something.
goddamn American hero.
Happy Veterans Day.
Yeah. Everyone out there that's a veteran, happy Veterans Day. For real. I even took the day off. That shows my support. So, guys, Skinwalkers. All right. Anybody know anything about that?
They're related to Jason.
Fuck, they could be. I mean, so the Skinwalker is an ancient Native American legend that takes on various forms across tribes. In Navajo lore, a Skinwalker is a kind of wicked sorcerer who can transform into, occupy, or disguise themselves as an animal. The myth behind this shape-shifting being known as the Skinwalker has mostly been consigned the label of either hoax, too much peyote, or simple oral traditions transfixed to a culture's belief. I don't like whoever wrote this. The Navajo Skinwalker, nevertheless, has deep roots in Aboriginal American folklore. Other tribes throughout the region also have their own version of the Skinwalker. The Pueblo people, Apache and Hopi each have their own unique interpretation of what a skinwalker might be. So, what can a skinwalker might be? Some customs hold tight to the belief that skinwalkers are produced when a medicine man abuses magic for evil, when they corrupt the natural orders of things. The medicine man, now an entity for evil, becomes a Sith Lord figure. Evil medicine man. He or she is given awesome powers by the pollution. These powers differ from tradition to tradition. The few things this malicious transformation does, though, through all the tribes, is command over beasts, their ability to turn into different animals, and their capacity to possess other people from their tribe. So, in other traditions, though, a person, man, woman, or child becomes a skinwalker when they perform any kind of deep-seated taboo, similar to the Wendigo curse. So, a skinwalker is something that the tribes don't like talking about at all. It can be known as an evil spirit, and sometimes they've been talked about, or witches as well. But technically, they're evil spirits / witches that use evil magic that can turn into animals or dilapidated, half decomposed animals. Lots of times it's coyotes, horses, bears, wolves, lots of different things. Typically what you'll see is like the coyote or wolf, and they'll have like their legs backwards, walking weird. It's like taboo as fuck to talk about as a Native American. It goes along with the whistling at night, which they take very seriously. And allegedly these things can run like 70 miles an hour. Like they're like transhuman. They are something, whether it's magic or evil or something. They're able to become half creature or creature, some mixed, messed up version of it, and kind of like cast spells. Like they can. It's like curses, like skinwalker curses on tribes. Different things. They got different stuff. Like if you're in the woods and there's stories of people being in the woods and they hear voices or their name called out, you don't go looking for them because it could sound like your family member or friend or something, and you're like, there's something wrong here. My friend's like up there, or they're not even here, and like you don't go looking for them. They're seen many different ways. Hard to kill them, allegedly. Typically, it's a medicine man that wards them off with his own magic or spells or different rituals he does. But reportedly, you can kill them with a bullet, knife, or spear dipped in white ash. And most of the time, they actually look like they are covered in white ash. Their skin is white. Looks like it's kind of hanging off of them. Not really. Like they look like a dead, decrepit person, or dead, decrepit person animal mix is what it is. And this has been around forever, these stories about skinwalkers. So they're pretty much what's that called when you can transform into something?
Animorphs?
Like animorphs or
Chimeras?
Those as well. Like a shapeshifter is what they are. They're shape-shifting witches is what it is. And this as well as which we're not going to go over, the Wendigo and the Sasquatch are in like most Native American history traditions, and still to this day they don't talk about it. And if they do talk about it, it's like very quietly within each other. They don't talk about it to other people. And many people have stories of these things, ranging from hearing voices or like seeing. There's one about an old lady like on a trail that someone's walking, and all of a sudden she's in a different spot and she's looking at the guy weird, following him, and he's hearing voices and shit. Or it could be just like weird looking animals running around or acting like they're not animals, like hunting people to an extent that it's like harassment by people as animals, but they move weird, they're broken, they're different. It's creepy. It's really fucking creepy. But I wanted to cover that today, just in case for a future topic called Skinwalker Ranch. So wanted to cover those real quick. There's not a whole lot known about them. Other than it's like really taboo and you're not supposed to talk about it. Just like with the Black Eyed Kids, you're not supposed to talk about those either. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about everything we shouldn't be talking about, I guess. All right. This goes to my next one. This is my favorite cryptid story ever. I believe. I love this fucking story. All right. And the title of this article I'm about to read is beautiful. Is a 14-legged killer squid found 2 miles beneath Antarctica being weaponized by Putin.
That's really far out there.
It is. And I love this fucking story. This is all right, here we go, guys. Dr. Anton Padalaka claims he was part of a Russian scientific expedition to a subterranean lake in the Arctic that discovered the terrifying creature known as Organism 46B. He said their discovery at Lake Vostok was covered up by Russian officials who are now looking at ways to weaponize and breed the deadly squid with potentially devastating effects. Now, before I go on, has anyone seen the new Suicide Squad?
No,
No.
I did not.
You gotta see that movie. All right. They fight a giant starfish, and this is just making it way better.
What?
Yeah. An alien starfish. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta watch that movie. It's good. So Dr. Padalka said the squid, which was discovered in a freshwater lake trapped beneath 2 miles of ice, possessed an array of weapons and was responsible for the deaths of at least 2 of his scientific colleagues on the expedition. Giving details which sounded like a script out of a B-movie horror film, he said, "We encountered Organism 46B on our first day. It disabled our radio, which we later learned, to our alarm, was intentional. It is also able to paralyze prey from a distance of up to 150 feet by releasing its venom into the water. Tragically, my colleague and lifelong friend was killed this way. He treaded water wearing a blissful smile as the organism approached him. After he was hit by the venom, of course. He had a smile on his face. We watched helplessly as it used its arm to tear off his head, then popped his remains into its mouth, as if he had hypnotized him telepathically. The 33-foot long man-eater also boasts extraordinary camouflage that helped it stalk the researchers, including shapeshifting. Dr. Padalka said the shape-shifting capabilities of Organism 46B sound almost diabolic. It shaped itself in the form of a human diver. We thought it was one of my colleagues swimming towards us in scuba gear. By the time the closest scientist has realized what it was, it had grabbed him and torn him to bits. He revealed the octopus could also use its tentacles to kill, even after they had been hacked off its body. Dr. Padalka claimed another of his colleagues were killed by a tentacle many hours after slicing it off with an axe. He said, later that night, it slithered across the ice bank and strangled her. After 5 days battling the animal, the remaining scientists finally trapped Organism 46B in a tank. They brought it to the surface, but were shocked when it was seized by Russian officials, who told the waiting international press nothing had been found. Dr. Padalka fled the country and raised the alarm this week after he claimed to have discovered Mr. Putin's plans to use the animal as a military weapon. He warned these plans and any possible plans to breed more of these creatures could prove devastating. He said some species of octopus lay 200,000 eggs, Imagine if they were deposited in reservoirs and lakes across North America.
Dang.
I love this fucking story. It's my favorite fucking story. Oh, Brandon disappeared. What the fuck? I just realized that. But yeah, so who knows? Allegedly, this story is false, but I love it. So this giant fucking squid figured itself as, and when I first read this, I was like, this is fact. And I was like, oh my God. But it's still unknown. Still unknown. I'm hoping Putin really does have this squid. That it turned itself, made it look like a fucking diver, swam towards this guy. All of a sudden, when it released its ink or whatever, it paralyzed the guy behind them. They turn around and he's like smiling, all happy and just like floating. And this thing comes up to him, rips his fucking head off, and then eats his body. Yeah, then attacks again, and then they hack off one of its arms as it's trying to grab him. And later, the arm crawled through the night to a tent and strangled one of his people. But who knows? Maybe it could be real. Maybe it couldn't. I don't know. I love this one. This is my favorite fucking story of Putin, the Russian genius, having a giant alien squid. Which, by the way, yes, squids are real, because squids and octopus allegedly now have been found that they do not come from this planet, that they arrived here from like a rock from outer space, and they have no business being here at all on this planet genetically. So who knows what the story is? Could be a cover-up story, could be completely fake. I love it, however, though.
Well, what if it's not a squid and it's an alien? And they pretend it's a squid. Or it's pretending to be a squid.
Right, yeah. And it could transform and turn into different things. And it obviously loves the taste of humans. I mean, my main question was, how the fuck did you catch that thing 2 miles underneath ice? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
How did you get it above?
Right.
Above the ice?
Some sort of crazy elevator, I'm guessing. But how the hell would you be swimming in water that's 2 miles underneath ice? I guess it's possible. I don't know. You know, Russia and their amazing swimming suits. I mean, people swim in crazy cold water, so I guess that doesn't really make sense when they have those suits. That if they like puncture the suit, they'll freeze to death like instantly, kind of thing, or like in seconds. Pretty crazy, pretty interesting.
I want to, like, when I hear the story, I want to say it's fake, but like you never know. Like, some of it might be true.
Right.
Like Vladimir Putin might not be the person that's pulling the strings, kind of thing, but the creature might actually be real, and like it's a part of the slow pushing out the truth without getting exposed, kind of thing.
Or the guy tried to put it out and then they just like laughed at him.
Or yeah, that too.
You know, to cover it up. Who knows? Crazy. It just, as I started reading it, I'm like, oh shit, with the giant starfish on the fucking Suicide Squad 2. I'm like, oh my God. That blows my mind. Yeah. Yeah, and South Park has had weird episodes like that too. Like that one with the manatee or whatever it was. I think it was a manatee or something. It was in an aquarium and it was like making all the decisions for the planet, or a whale or dolphin or something. I can't remember what it was. It was an old episode. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have anything you want to go off of, Jay? We're kind of all alone now. I don't know what happened to Brandon. That fucking squid got him, dude, is what happened.
Yeah, could have been.
Said he was going for a walk. Who knows? He could have met a skinwalker, black-eyed kid, or that squid. Well, if anything got him, I'm hoping it's that fucking squid.
It could have been a squid that transformed into a skinwalker.
It could have.
That
And
transform
then,
into a kid.
yeah, there's multiple. See, we got 3. Yeah, we got 3 fucking things that transform into shit pretty much. Because I don't know, those kids are definitely not children for sure. I'm gonna put my money on that one. Whatever that is, demonic, I don't know. They were trying to talk about vampires, about how like like they tried to make it seem like kids can't be vampires, but then like original writings were like only kids could be vampires. Crazy, or demonic beings, or um who knows, you know what I mean? Like, who knows on any of these? I believe there's a lot more behind the Skinwalker for sure. If I had to rate them from like which ones are possible to least not possible, I don't want to say possible, but which ones I would believe are more likely true, I'd go Skinwalker number 1, Black Egg Kids 2, and then the Squid number 3, even though I really hope it's real. I mean, if we're gonna go out, let's fucking go out with a giant squid that fucking has abilities of shutting down like radio telecoms and can transform and do anything at once, and its arms live after cutting it off and can come choke you in the middle of the night. I'm down for that shit. That's a fucking video game shit if I've ever heard it. It's crazy. You like cut off one arm, 2 of them grow, you know. Crazy. It's a crazy world.
Yeah.
All right, man. You want to hit any of these other topics?
I guess there's only one thing I want to bring up.
Let's do
one small thing, just a quote by Tucker Carlson. This is about the Rittenhouse trial.
Okay.
So he tweeted out this little comment this morning, or not tweeted it out, but it was on his show, and I quote: he said, "Joseph Rosenbaum died as he had lived, trying to touch an unwilling minor."
Yes.
That was
I didn't know
funny.
Tucker said that. I saw that. I didn't know Tucker said that.
He said that.
Yes, what a bad motherfucker, dude. It's true. And you know, it's not fun to laugh at people's death, but I mean, fuck him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, he threatened to kill that little boy after he had spent his life touching little kids.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other guys, I mean, as well, trying to kill a kid, getting ready to kill a kid.
Oh yeah.
In the name of what? In the name of burning down this fucking city because you're a loser fuck and what?
Chaz.
You know what I mean?
Was it before Chaz or after Chaz?
I don't fucking know. It was not even in the same area. I know that. Chaz is in Seattle. They still have it down there, bro.
What?
Yeah, from what
down.
I don't know. From what I know, they still got some shit shut down there. And that was coming from my boss who went to Seattle. There's a section. I don't know. It's not like as intense as it was, but there's still places in these fucking cities that people don't go to anymore. Because it's weird. It's like those homeless encampments. You know what I mean?
I still think that's weird.
It is weird. And they're still standing down.
That used to be like what, city property, and the city doesn't want to take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really weird.
It's all like it's part of the plan.
Yeah, it's like they were in support of it. Oh, here we give you this land. Do whatever you want with it.
You go down there and deal with them. It's like dealing with a bunch of grown-ass bitching teenagers. You know.
I wouldn't say teenagers. Teenagers at least has half a mind.
Well, like the emotion.
I would say like preteen.
Gotcha. That's fucking great. Yeah, it's a bunch of idiots, you know. I don't know. It's stupid. I mean, it's just like the whole idea of like all you fucking idiots can move to this island and You can do whatever you want there. And that's fine. It's like this little part of Seattle.
Let's lay down cardboard and put dirt on it.
Yeah.
And let's mercurally grow food.
Oh my God.
Day.
Fuck. If they weren't who they were, I would have just shut up and been like, do you guys want me to do this for you? I'm going to show you how to make plants come out of the ground and actually grow shit from them. Fucking
need
assholes.
Brondo. They needed Brondo.
Yeah, they're like, only black people can eat from this garden. I don't want to eat from that garden anyway. This is disgusting. Fuck. Cities are gross. You know that more than me. You just see it. You know what I mean? That slime. Cities always blow my mind anyway. It's like concentrated amount of people in one area. Like just the sidewalks have this like hint on them that is just like gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The buildings, like everything, just gross. I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't know. People always come out and get fresh air and, I'm not a big people fan anyway. I couldn't do like people living everywhere, always having noise, always having lights. I couldn't do it. But not everyone's me. And some people, that's all they know. That's how they lived their whole life, Just crazy.
There's people that live in the city their whole life. When they move somewhere into the suburbs where it's quiet, they can't sleep. They like it disturbs them, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I get that.
And it's opposite for people that lives in the suburbs or in the country that goes into the city. They're not used to the noise and stuff.
I'm fucked up. I always have noise when I sleep. I always sleep with the TV. If not, I float. But one thing I wanted to say about Kyle Rittenhouse that I forgot to say earlier is I think he has a bigger purpose. And I think that purpose is that which he should duly get completely exonerated, is that it will show American patriots that if riots or anything happen again, which I'm wholeheartedly think they will, because I think the left is about to start taking some blows with what's going on politically, is that real American patriots are going to realize you can go out there and be a Kyle Rittenhouse. Yes. And can protect your city. You don't need the cops to do it because they're being told to stand the fuck down, and they won't go against that because they will be fired. But you can't. If a 17-year-old kid can go out there and make a difference, and then when he tries to do good for your community, gets attacked to the point he has to fucking kill 2 people and almost die, put his life on the line, then you can too. And he's gonna get away with it because he fucking did nothing wrong. And I think that's what his purpose is to show all of us adults and everyone else in those cities, like, sack the fuck up and be a goddamn American.
I completely agree.
I think that's what his true purpose is to show that this little fucking kid did that. What can you do? What can all of us do? If there's 10,000 of us on those fucking streets being Kyle Rittenhouses, none of that shit would have happened.
Yeah.
None of it. They wouldn't be like, why were you there? It was dangerous. It wouldn't be dangerous. 10,000 of us out there with fucking AR-15s standing our fucking ground. Those motherfuckers would walk the line and go home. Wouldn't be burning down buildings, wouldn't be burning shit, but yeah. Well, I guess we're on time here, I guess. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Collective Minds podcast, episode 11. Some good stuff we hit here tonight, but I think we're going to finish it up. A shorter episode this evening, right on time. Thank you, Jay, for joining. Brandon, for joining.
Yeah.
Lily, for the 0.5 seconds you were here before you got scared and ran away.
That was my fault. I was telling a story and she got scared. That was my fault.
You gotta stop scaring our guests away, Jay. He's like, I'm gonna start off with a story that's gonna scare the shit out of you. All of a sudden, there's a knock at the door. Yeah, when Jay tells story, guys, All of a sudden, you're going to knock at your door and no one's there. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.